God help us if the Liberals manage to pull off a fourth term.
Yeah.
God help us.
Now, we've got Danielle Smith
Mm-hmm.
remarking on Mark Carney mocking her during a campaign event.
That was a big topic of conversation last night.
Yeah. A lot of fans of Danielle Smith in the crowd, I think overwhelming majority, probably unanimous. Her standing up to Mark Carney and just, compare and contrast how she stands up to Mark Carney and she's singled out for it by Mark Carney versus the butt kissing that Doug Ford does and then in turn gets from Mark Carney. But he basically said, oh, we're not going to send her to do anything. First of all, she doesn't need your dang permission. She's going to go to Washington if she wants to go to Washington.
That's right.
But let's listen to what she had to say.
How do you feel about being mocked by the Prime Minister of Canada and Liberal leaders, which he did, I believe, in Victoria, bringing your name up and the name of Premier Ford, but more so yourself, and making you the butt of jokes during the campaign?
Well, I've noticed this with progressive men, how much they talk about how much they support women until they meet a strong conservative woman. And so this is a pretty consistent type of approach that I've seen, not only from the current Prime Minister, but the former one as well. And the attitude is, sit down and shut up. Well, I don't shut up. I make sure that Albertans know exactly how I feel about issues. And I'm going to continue advocating on behalf of my province, whether he likes it or not.
How do you feel about...
Sick burn.
Well,
just sick.
She's the most effective negotiator with the Trump administration.
Yes. She is the most active listener in the entire nation of Canada.
Yeah.
She cares more about what Albertans think, what they want for themselves, and then she reflects it back to them. She is showing us a masterclass in how our elected politicians should treat the people that elected them. And she, God bless her, I'm not going to shut up. Albertans know how I feel on things. And it's because she develops her feelings based on what Albertans tell her.
Right.
It's incredible. It's just incredible. I mean, but yeah, leave it to Mark Carney to be a misogynistic prick to the most popular premier in the province as it pertains to the support that she gets from her own province.
Well, and if he's going to make fun of her, and she is the most politically powerful Albertan right now, outside of Pierre Poilievre, who is from Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to mock her and tell her to shut up, imagine what he would do to the rest of us, little Westerners, if the woman who is bringing our concerns both to Ottawa but also to Washington, if she is treated with such disdain and public condemnation, imagine what he would do if we got any ideas about protesting the federal government this time around.
Well, because don't forget that the Liberals don't know what a woman is. When anyone can just self-identify as a woman, we'll just go back to C4 and C16. When anybody can identify as a woman, then you can talk about them like this. Then you can denigrate them like this. Then you can ignore them and publicly eviscerate them. Because there's no expectation that you treat women with respect. So again, this goes back to C4 and C16. They must be repealed by the Conservative government. The end.
Yes. Now we've got Mark Carney from his hoedown at the Holiday Inn or wherever it was, the Sheraton.
Let's compare and contrast.
The Sheraton. I'm sure the Sheraton Airport in Vancouver is lovely. I may have even stayed there for work or working on a documentary. I'm sure it's lovely, but it is not the largest warehouse I've ever seen in my life, full of 15,000 people. So many people trying to share images to get around the lies of the mainstream media that the cell service cratered.
Crapped out.
It just crapped out. You couldn't refresh anything. You couldn't upload anything. But anyways, Mark Carney last night at the Hojo, the Howard Johnson, the ballroom down at the Howard Johnson, where next week someone will be hosting a bar mitzvah. He says, Poilievre would kneel before Trump. Excusez-moi.
Oh, we heard about that last night too on the Poilievre side.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't get to decide what happens to Canada. Canadians do. Rapturous applause again. Yeah. But
Also, Stephen Harper reminding the crowd, all the bad things in Canada right now are not because of Trump.
that's right.
It's because of the Liberals. So anyways, this is him saying, even though Trump has endorsed this guy because he will be absolutely easy to walk over, he's changing lanes and saying that Poilievre will just lay down before Trump. He should have said it in the original Mandarin, but go ahead.
When you're in a crisis, my experience, what you need to do is distinguish between what you can change and what you can't. And it's not really a big insight, but I don't think at 78 we can change Donald Trump. And a person who draws their inspiration from Donald Trump, like Pierre Poilievre, he'll kneel before him before he stands up to him. And as Premier Smith said, and I quote, Pierre Poilievre is in sync with Donald Trump. Pierre Poilievre is choosing to be willfully blind to the many and growing threats that face our country.
I've never heard such an outrageously anti-American politician in my life, except maybe Elizabeth May, who is herself an American.
Right. But the way that he just integrated Danielle Smith there to a room full of left coast elites,
feminists,
that should say something to the people of Alberta right there. Like, the kind of prime minister he's going to be if he's denigrating our provincial premiers on the campaign trail.
He's campaigning against Smith.
Do get bent, Mark Carney. Get bent.
Take all the seats.
And again, this is not Trump that has caused us any of the heartache or pain that we've suffered over these last 10 years.
Trump didn't inflate our immigration levels so that we have no housing and infrastructure and health care to keep up. Trump is not the reason that our healthcare system would sooner euthanize you than treat you.
Trump had zero to do with the carbon tax.
Right.
Trump had nothing to do with
he didn't
the
cancel
green
our
slush funds.
He didn't cancel our pipelines.
No, he did not.
He actually okayed our pipelines.
That's exactly right. Trump had nothing to do with why Canada is broken today, and the Liberals had everything to do with why Canada is broken today. Don't forget that, Canada.
We've got.
Want to stay on top of the latest current events, but don't trust the mainstream media to help you do that? Then check out our daily live stream coverage of the latest news and totally unscripted at rebelnews.com/roundup.